Let's kick this pig.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Welcome back to the Brothers Saga Podcast. I'm Andrew Palmer, co-founder and chief story officer of Saga, joined by my brother Russell Palmer, co-founder and CEO. And today we are beyond thrilled to welcome a true legend of television and tech, Fred Graver. Fred is a four-time Emmy-winning writer and producer whose iconic credits include Late Night with David Letterman, Cheers, and In Living Color. He's been at the bleeding edge of media for decades, serving as the global head of TV at Twitter and working with Disney Imagineers. Today, he's leading the next frontier as the founder of the AI Writer Studio and as a guiding voice for communities like Machine Cinema. Fred, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Fred.
Andrew. Good to see you. Good to see Russell. Yeah,
Good to
terrific.
see you. Yeah, so rather than a long intro, we're going to do something different this episode. We're
Yeah.
going to start with a hot take. So we were talking a little bit before recording about you prefer to use combinations or different models. You use Claude, Sonnet, you use ChatGPT, Gemini 3, Notebook LM. You make a personal virtual writer's room. So is the physical writer's room dead in this post-COVID work
Good.
from
Oh, man,
home
that's a
remote
really
world?
good. That is a loaded question. It's interesting. I'm working with a couple of people right now who have a a waiver from the Writers Guild West to create writers' rooms that use AI.
Mm,
So is the traditional writer's room dead? I'm going to avoid the economic realities of TV today, where streamers have I don't want to get in for want of a better word, they've altered the traditional writer's room model uh, for to their own benefit. And the notion, so I have been lucky enough to be in some of the great writers' rooms. I've just lucked out. I mean, I
on
was in,
Cheers, yeah, Cheers
well,
was
there's
one of
Cheers.
our favorite shows. Yeah.
Not only was I there in the last couple of seasons, but in the last six episodes, they knew it was going to be the end of the series. The people who created the series, who were there in season one, oh, geez, stop. I'm so sorry. Um, the people who created the Charles brothers, David Lloyd, other people came back to write those last six episodes. So
Wow.
suddenly the team that had been there writing, I think, episode or season 12, I think, or 11, we were all just the backbenchers. We just watched and
Mm.
just went, holy crap. Look what these guys did. Um, so that was a great writers' room. The original writers' room for Late Night with David Letterman was very experimental. It was really fun, and essentially, yeah, you walk in, people have sheets of paper with some stuff that they came up with, and whatever you did got better, right, as people kicked it around. Um,
How many
and
people?
so, oh, so Letterman, there's like eight or ten
Okay.
writers.
Yeah.
There was, I want to say there were six or eight writers in the regular room for Cheers, and then six or eight people showed up the pros from Dover came in, and they just, wrote the thing. So I asked the legendary Jim Brooks once how you do this, right? How many people you put in writers, and he goes, well, how many episodes do you need to generate? And divide that by two or three because each writer is going to go off and write some episodes. So if you're in there for back in the day, 20 episodes or 23 episodes, you wanted to have eight or 10 people. And then nowadays, I know Judd Apatow one time was at a place and he was just making fun of people who write television today. He goes, "Ooh, you have a 10 episode season. How difficult for you." Right? And so that, and then in fact, you have a showrunner now and a rotating group of maybe 4 or 6 writers. Um, the value of a writer's room is that you have people who think differently, and you have somebody, and some people say, oh, you cast the writer's room. There's some people who are great at dialogue, or some people, and that may or may not be true. But you have people who have different takes on the thing you're creating. And you guys, in the Saga software, you're like, what's the theme? What are the questions? What are the desires? What's the groundwork? So that's been set. But if you say to somebody, this character lost their parents young in life and are constantly just kind of like, even if it's a comedy, right? They're just trying to recreate a family for themselves. Well, 4 different people have 4 different, very different takes on
Yeah.
who that character is going to be and how they behave. So my thing when I set up the AI Writers Studio, my orientation was to say, okay, I know because I worked for 4 years at Microsoft with the AI teams trying to explain to Fortune 500 companies what AI did.
Mhm.
And
Was that in Redmond at their
no,
headquarters?
no, no,
Or
I was
okay,
remote.
I
It was
worked
all
there. I used
remote.
to
Oh
work
my
there.
God, it
Yeah,
was all remote. It was
yeah.
just, yeah. There was a couple of times I had to go and meet with actual people, but
Mhm.
um, uh, I knew from working there how insanely transformative AI was going to be to everything. I knew from going to AI on the lot last spring in
Mhm.
LA that there was this vast gulf between the people who were creating AI films and doing this amazing, insane work with it, and writers.
Yeah.
And the I was listening to the AI for Humans podcast the other just this morning, and they were talking about the Logan Paul 15-minute video that he put out with the Door Brothers,
Right. I
and
just
Right.
saw that.
uh,
Yeah.
and they were quoting the guy who had created the TV series Entourage, who said, "Well, I was bored after
Doug
80
Elgin?
seconds." Huh? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he just said, I'm out. I was bored after 80 seconds. And I thought, well, that's not the AI's fault, Doug.
Hmm.
I saw this a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
It's the fact that the wonderful people who create this kind of stuff
Hmm.
uh, are not storytellers. They often don't understand what a story is. And then
Hmm.
the writers over here have their heads in the sand and
Hmm.
are going like, oh God, no, not the AI,
Hmm.
no. And there's this horrible, that's my impression of Writers Guild writers.
Hmm.
No, please. And
Uh-oh.
and and so there's this gulf, and you guys see it as
Hmm.
clearly as I do. Um,
Yeah, just one thing. I saw the Door Brothers super viral post. Everyone's celebrating it, tens of millions of
yeah.
views. And the quote is, "We made a $200 million movie, and it's a minute and a half long."
Yeah. That's
Well, I
And
expensive
I'm
think the
like,
movie.
actually the,
no,
the
no,
long
you
one is
didn't.
15 minutes. The long one
Yeah,
is 15 minutes.
okay. Okay.
So
But then
it's a
just
three.
one thing.
No,
There's
they're
other posts.
lying.
Yeah, but there's other posts of like, you know, I made this scene from The Matrix. It cost the Wachowskis 500 million. It cost me, 20 minutes. But
Well,
no, like it's trained on The Matrix. The
Yeah.
Matrix was
right,
invented. The
right.
costumes, the casting of Keanu Reeves, that's a decision. All these decisions, and then the Wu Ping was it, the fighter, like all that stuff was invented for you, and then you just wrote a prompt that says make a one
You
minute
you wrote a prompt. Yeah,
Matrix.
you wrote a
Yeah,
prompt,
so that's why I'm
and
happy the Copyright Office won't allow you to
well,
copyright
well,
prompts. It doesn't make sense.
it it so let's
Sorry to get
try
us
and
off track.
no, 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 no. I want to no, but you bring up an important point, and so I want to
Mhm.
try and for your audience,
Sure.
I'd like to narrow this down a little bit to something very useful for them, right?
Hmm.
One thing is the people who are creating AI films and then saying that what they're doing is the equivalent of what, and I'm going to sound like an elitist, and I mean it. Actual professional trained storytellers. What you guys are doing over here, the Dora brothers and Logan Paul and the guy who did that Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise thing, good for you. That's a toy. That's a party trick.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick. Yeah.
It's
It's
a
a
gimmick.
viral.
And as Lily Tomlin once said, uh, uh, there's a big difference between the person who can make people laugh in their living room and the person who can actually have a career in comedy.
Right.
And they are doing a party trick.
Yeah.
And let's just be very honest about that. The way that you get people to pay you money for the story you're telling, and I don't care if you're a Hollywood studio or if you're just trying to get 1,000 true fans, the way you do it is the human work of thinking about what do people need to hear about? What's the story I can tell that can illuminate the questions that they have in their lives?
Yeah.
And that's the game.
Because there's only so many times that people will watch that viral, novelty. Hey, look what I made. And then
And for free. They only watch it for free. No one's paying to watch
yeah.
No, he's
Tom Cruise versus Brad Pitt because they can't, and that's not
That's
how
right.
it works.
That's right. That's right. And so I think, what you guys are doing with Saga and what I'm kind of trying to do with my take. And by the way, the reason I did this is I believe that the three AIs, I know that the three major ones, Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini, all have very, very distinct personalities. And Gemini, I include
Yeah.
Notebook LM in
Yeah.
there, right? So Claude, there is a doctor of philosophy in the senior leadership of the engineering team in Claude. And she spends a lot of time thinking about how does Claude think? And there's a great piece in the recent New Yorker about this, about they're thinking about thinking. And that's very important to them. ChatGPT is the most annoying film school student you've ever had in the writer's room. It has seen every movie, it's seen every TV show, it has read all of the books, and it sits there going like, well, that's not how it's done. And you want to just slap them. And yet, and yet, when you're in the middle of a scene and you go, I don't know why this isn't working, or could you look at my act one? It will say you're missing X, Y, and Z. That's what, the Brian Eno thing, oblique instructions, oblique, he has this
I know
great
the movie that like changes every time.
well, no. He has this great set of things that are supposed to jar your brain, and it's always like think of the opposite of what you're doing. ChatGPT is direct instructions. Do what everybody else has done. Play the hits.
Right.
Shut the hell up. Right. So, and then Gemini, it's just and Notebook LM are just the best writer's assistant you've ever had. And they go like, "Oh, this is what you wrote 6 months ago about this," or I know you said you wanted this thing, you aspired to being this thing, and you're really getting far away from it. It is the assistant who stays after everybody's left and walks into your office and goes, "I don't think you're doing the thing you set out to do."
Helps you with your homework. Yeah.
Yeah.
Version of it are you using? Thinking, Pro, or Fast?
Oh, so that's a really good question. You use thinking when you're like, I'm building a world and I need to understand how this happens, right? And then I use, pro when it's like I need to do deep research or whatever. Fast is good enough. Like I need, keep me on track about this. Yeah. How about you? Are you using different ones? Yeah. Well,
I was
you've built
testing
them
them
into
both.
Saga, right?
So Russell can speak more to what's under the hood. But I was testing out Thinking and Pro today, but I had it on Fast most of the time before that. So
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that's that's a very long-winded way around
Well, it sounds like
writers'
your own
rooms
writer,
and
like that.
saga.
That's kind of the new writer's room, right? Having a couple different thinkers approach
Yeah.
how you want to tell your story. And so, yeah, like you said, it's what we've tried to build into Saga. Have you been using it as a TV writer at all for
Yes.
development?
Yeah. I want to do this. I want to share what I've done with it. And I'll put in the caveat for you guys. I know that your TV series software is not as advanced as the movie software.
Yeah,
That said,
still some bugs to find, I'm sure, but
still
we're
some
happy
bugs.
to do a demo live on the
Yeah.
podcast.
And
That's what
so
it's all
so
about.
and for the people watching at home, um, um, we'll spend less time bug fixing and more time
Mhm.
just I just want to drive through because there is a no joke intended here, a happy ending to this
Great.
that I think was very encouraging when I used it. So hold on a second. I'm going to share my screen. Um, but really, it was this has been a lot of fun to me. Um, so
That's
can you
great.
see the full screen here?
Yep.
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Autonomous, the TV
Autonomous.
series.
So autonomous is essentially um, the pitch that I do with people is autonomous is a family comedy about a typical American family in America in the 50s, the
Mhm.
2050s. It is an
Ah,
AI saturated world, but I use a lot of the sitcom feel and tropes to
Mhm.
basically, I don't want this to feel like science fiction. I want
Mhm.
it to feel a lot more like, oh, what if the Simpsons were living in 2050, right?
Yep.
What if, yeah. So I'm going to open the project and I want to walk through some of the cool things here. And oh, I've been working on this. I've had it in the back of my mind for quite a while, and I've
Mhm.
been seriously working on it for a month
Mhm.
along the lines of I do believe that writers in general, people like myself and Andrew, are going to need to figure out how to very quickly script things that they will then turn into actual video that they will
Mhm.
post wherever it is, if it's on Escape AI or if it's on
Mhm.
YouTube or however we're gonna figure this out. And maybe it's the old Kevin Kelly, 1,000 true fans thing. Like if I could
Mhm.
get 1,000 people to pay me $8 or $10 a month
Mhm.
for this little video series that I turn out that makes me laugh, I'm good. That's great, right? And,
Yep.
and and if it's more than that, it's even better. If somebody at Netflix or uh, Paramount, because there's only going to be two people left. No, I'm kidding. Um,
Mhm.
but if one of them says, "Oh, this is great. This is the kind of thing we're interested in," even better.
Yeah.
But my odds of them looking at it for any reason are better if I've done the video and all of that, right? So
Mhm.
if I can script this thing more quickly
Mhm.
that's great. And that's how I kind of went into to this with Saga.
Great.
And I have a
And you
whole
might
bunch.
want to zoom in just a little bit, or maybe a lot, because I know some of these videos are coming out in
How's that?
720p, but some of them are,
there we
yeah,
go.
that's perfect.
Oh,
Yep, go back one.
yeah, that
Yeah,
one's
that's
good.
perfect.
Okay, terrific. So here's the title of the series. It's a comedic web series. I put in the log line. I'm not going to read all this stuff, but some of this,
Yeah.
they lived, Stan, Becca, and Tim Paddock lived the optimized life of the 2050s in a town called Millionaire. By the
Mm.
way, there's a huge data center, like the half the size of Manhattan,
Hmm.
next to the town. And the town had another name, but they renamed themselves Millionaires because they thought that's what they'd all end up being. Um, the AI grid uh, powers that be have decided the minute the series opens up, we find out they decided to mothball the data center. And now the Padnicks and the town have to figure out what to do. Their scheme is they're going to start selling off their lives as data. They're basically going to
Oh
become
no.
the crops in an enormous living data farm.
Yeah.
So
The batteries in the wall in the Matrix. Yeah.
they are that, right? So, and it's built, their lives are, and everybody's lives are incredibly convenient because that's how we're going to end up giving ourselves over to the system. It's just going to
Mhm.
make life easier. But then it's like the old Chinese finger trap where the harder you
Yeah.
pull, you can't get out. So I
Yeah,
have
it's
all
like
of these,
doom
yeah,
scrolling of the
I have
slop.
all of these themes about how we optimize ourselves out of existence. Now,
Great.
I you have these kind of story types in here, and I couldn't figure out one that mine kind of went with, so I
Yeah, you
skipped it,
can leave it blank. That's totally
right?
fine.
It's a family comedy. There's a lot about the tone. The cheat, every time I ever watch anything about the future, I get confused. I'm a bear of very little brain. And but what I have here is there is an AI omniscient voice that varies somewhere between Kurt Vonnegut and a snarky Chevy Chase. Um, and it narrates,
Is there any other kind?
yeah, it narrates the episode. What we realize at the end of the pilot is that the 13-year-old boy has started selling off his data, and the AI at the end of every day tells him the value of what happened to him in his life
Hmm.
as he's being paid for it. So it's a, and this is for all of us now who are AI anxious. We're text literate, we're comedy fans, but this is what's going on. Here's the setting. There's
Oh,
a
you got to
lot of
write
COVID.
Millionaire, a town called Millionaire, right? In this
Yeah.
setting.
Um,
You don't have
oh,
to do it now, but just
yeah, but I could do that.
it
Yes.
helps.
So,
It
but
helps
it's
the
all in here.
AI.
It's in here in
Yeah.
the other details, but you're absolutely right. So I had all of this stuff, and then I went into characters. And I won't spend too much time in this, but I did have, you know, oh, character arc. I actually have character arcs for each of them, like what happens to them. It didn't fit
Mhm.
into this, so I ended up putting it in down here in other details.
Can you
Um,
describe it quickly? Maybe Andrew will help you
well,
pick one. If it's a happy ending, it's positive arc. And
it's
if it's a
mixed.
villain, then it's
It's
just
it's
flat.
very mixed. Life is not easy for these people.
Yeah.
So if any, yeah, let me.
You
I
can leave it
didn't fill
blank.
it
That's
in, and I
fine.
could
Yeah.
fill it in. I did have a physical description for him, a personality. I did. He's probably a hero, but there's three of
Hmm.
them, so whatever,
They
you
can
know,
all have the hero archetype. Yep.
correct. So I did all of this. There's a weird thing because I know I needed a little bit of a backstory in here for
Yeah.
later.
Hmm.
Um, there was a major cyber war
Yeah. Try
25
try
years
clicking
ago.
generate on the right there. Just see what
All right, let's see
happens.
what happens.
Should take a few seconds. And the idea is it won't override it, but if you pick any
If
of
it
the
incorporates that, yeah,
options, then it'll
I
end
kept
it.
thinking about again. I kept thinking about the 1950s. Here we are.
So
Great.
are
I'm just going to
any of
take
these
whatever
good?
this is.
Yeah.
I'm good. We're just going to take whatever this is.
So you
Um,
see the velvet
oops.
cage there. Yeah. It will have
Um,
just appended it so you can
right.
then
So I
delete.
have Stan, I have his wife Becca. Very briefly, Stan is a guy who in another world would have worn a tool belt, and he built
Hmm.
the data center. He put in the wiring. He now there are two guys who oversee 285 robots in the data center. Um, and it's him, and there's another guy who's a supporting character who's oh, here's a reference nobody's going to get. There's an author named Karl Ove Knausgaard, who is a Danish author who's written like 25 books, each of which are about 1,000 pages long. It's literally his entire life chronicled in the darkest, most Norwegian way you could imagine. And so Carl and Stan. Oh, Stan's retina is I know I'm getting into the weeds here. Stan's retina opens up the deepest locks in the
Mm.
data center. So he wears an eye patch so he doesn't accidentally open any of them
Oh,
ever.
that's funny.
Anyway,
Oh,
you
you
get
got
the
to put
idea.
that in the physical description. You got to put the
Well,
eye
yeah, well
patch in there.
that's Carl, but
Oh, Carl,
works
sorry.
Becca works in the social worker clinic where people who don't fit into the system come for help, and she tries to help them. Tim is their 13-year-old son who is brilliant and who is being offered a space in the World Teen Data Center, World Teen Data Squad. Here's the deal. We have ingested every bit of data that is on the planet. So, you know who generates great new data? Teenagers, because they're nuts.
Yeah.
So they have all these raw hormones going through their bodies. So you can make millions of dollars for your family. Think of like kids who get recruited by sports, by university. You can make millions of dollars for your family by just selling off all of your thoughts and emotions and actions into data. And Tim signs up for that. Anyway, so and then there's an orbiter. There isn't a super organization. I hate like all that, but there is a largely dysfunctional elite that rules across the world. They're in an orbiter that orbits, and it's run by the descendants of people we know already. So it's the granddaughter of Elon Musk, the grandson of Jeff Bezos, the granddaughter of Bill Gates, and the real David Zaslav, who has invested in longevity treatments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Dark
And is still
Frontier,
there.
I have a novel set in the asteroid belt in like 2076, and all the last names are the same thing, descendants of the. I think I
There
got
you
some
go.
Waltons in
There you
there
go.
too.
We'll do a crossover episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Fred, I would
okay, so
just one tip, like just for the name, if you put the notes about the person's age, and it will use that as their name. So I would typically cut
take that
that
out.
and put, because I know you mentioned there's
Oh, I know.
sometimes there's
Yeah.
issues. So just trying to look for things
Yep.
that could help. But yeah, in the personality,
All
in
good.
the other
All great.
details, you can write that.
Yep. So then you've got your seasons, and I have a season overview. So essentially, I have about 24 episodes, right? And each
In a
season.
season, like old network
No,
style.
there's like 8 episodes in a season.
Got
So
it.
there's
So
there's
more
4
modern.
seasons, but along the lines of what you guys think, in movies, I'm thinking about first 8 episodes is Act One, right?
Right.
You get to the point where they've
Yep.
made an irreverent. So they make this decision to become crops that will be harvested, right? And the whole town goes along with it. The Act Two is really about what happens when they're doing that. Act Three is the elites are going nuts about this because the people have taken control of their own destiny and it doesn't fit into their model. And what?
That's cool.
So there's all of that in here, right? It's all done, right? Here's where it gets interesting. So here's episodes. I have the first episode, 8 episodes, and I put all of them in there.
Awesome.
And here's where it gets
Now, can I ask you a question about this?
Yeah.
Because you said that Act One. So are you with the episode arc? Like, is it kind of split? First half of the story and second half. Do you have like an Act One with episode 1 and 2, and then Act 2 is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 6, and then
Yeah, so the first 8 episodes are really the first act of what would be a movie.
Yeah. And so within those 8 episodes, do you have a first act as well? Like, are episode 1 and 2 Act 1 of season 1?
No, what I have
Yeah.
is that's a really great question. So what I have is essentially, if you looked at it, you would kind of go, uh, episode 1 and episode 2
Yeah.
are the normal world,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But it's also there's something weird's going to happen.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is the inciting incident where Tim gets the pitch to be part of the Teen Data Squad
Got it.
that could resurrect his family out of economic demise because the data center is closing. And he's like, okay, I'm going to do this right now. And then episodes 4 through, and it ended up being episode 9 because I needed an extra episode, but 4 through 9 are Tim bringing this idea to his parents. Through a series of events, his parents and people in the community realize, well, if Tim can sell his data for a lot of money, why can't all of us sell our data for a lot of money?
Yeah.
And the last episode in Act One, which has to be the irrevocable decision. Okay, so in order not to be heard by AI, Stan, remember the guy who would wear a tool belt if he was alive today? Stan builds a giant Faraday cage in the high school gymnasium. He lines the walls with duct tape and aluminum foil and charges the walls with car batteries with electricity. The entire town, it's hot. It feels weird. Their hair is standing up. Don't touch the walls, please. And they vote, and then that's when they all decide the system isn't hearing us. We're going to do this, right? And they make that choice. So that's the first 8 episodes. You start with Act Two, and it would be just episode 9 or 10, which is just what a movie would do. Now you're going to have the false victories of having made this decision.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, holy crap, we're all getting rich because we're selling our data. We're just living our lives. And then some people obviously start maxing their lives so that they get paid more money, right? So that's roughly how I broke everything
and
up.
Fred, just one quick thing again. And Andrew is qualified to comment on your
By the
story.
way,
I'll let him do that.
There's somebody in China right now listening to this, making this movie. So I'm fucked. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to say that. You can take the word out.
Well, you've posted it, so you have copyright. But yeah, just a few. I'm looking for things that could be causing bugs. And as we say in product management, as you know, the customer is always right. But so you can use it however you want. But in the overview, you see little like script is attached in the first line. We open with the pitch for the team
if you
data
just scroll
squad.
your cursor over there. Yeah, right there. Nope. In the overview section, it's bracketed
in the middle of the page
after the first sentence. Script is attached.
Oh,
yeah. So like stuff like that, I would delete, and then if you go down a little lower, you'll see like a Notion website link. So
if that goes.
Yeah, right? Stuff like that I would just watch out for. Usually the AI is smart enough to not get confused, but if you are having bugs, these would be the things I would look for.
Understood. All right.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
So, okay, so we're in episode 1. This is the plot. I mean, I've just put all of the plot of episode 1. When I got down here,
and that plot had a website in it too. I couldn't help but noticing. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it did. It's the same thing. It was a copy and paste from the other one.
Okay.
That said, don't worry, it did well.
Okay, good.
The themes, I asked it to generate a theme, and this was good enough. But being who I am, I started losing patience. I was like, no, I don't care about the story types. And I know it did generate absurdly relatable, which was helpful for me. It was not helpful. Again, I don't want to get too much into
let's try it.
bugs. Yeah. But this wasn't helpful because, in fact, and I know I've done this 2 or 3 times, so I know I'm going to get this result, or I hope I get this result. It gave me subplots. None of these people are in this episode. So I'm kind of like, okay, I know what the B story is that I'm going for eventually, but they're not here. So I lost patience, and I just went to
try typing who is in the episode.
It's basically, okay, so if I come back down here, it's basically Stan.
And then just say like a B story about Stan, and then hit generate and see what happens. Not to cut you off or anything, but I just want to
B story about
help you out. Because the characters, you're right, is at the high level, at the series level, so it doesn't know what characters are per episode.
Yeah.
So there's 1, 2 about.
We still got some of this. That's it. I want to keep going because it gets better.
Okay.
The act thing, like I said, in an episode there aren't 3 acts. This was right. This was the teaser was kind of right. It really worked kind of well. The camera pans over the.
Does it only have 3 acts? Should it not have 4 with the teaser?
It has 4 acts.
Yeah.
But an episode doesn't have. I didn't need 4.
Are you doing a half-hour episode or an hour?
It's really a 5-minute episode within an 8-episode arc. But even if it was a half hour, and I had I understand what you're saying. You're right. So
Yeah,
this is my
this is our
particular
60-minute
We
template,
will be
and we will have new
making other
templates.
ones,
Yeah,
right,
so
right,
we'll have templates for
shorts
right.
and
shorts, micro
So I
episodes.
series, and
skipped over this. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
That's all
and you
good.
That
can skip it.
said,
Yeah,
the teaser was absolutely right. Right. It's just
great.
like the delivery bot's pausing mid-route, the neighbor's glancing around, something's wrong. Absolutely right.
Mhm.
Um, here's where and the beats um were okay. Worked, in terms of the protagonist, the antagonist, trying to make a
Yeah,
plan,
and
the
there's 25 of
revelations.
them because it's expecting a 60-minute
That's
episode.
that's
So when we
correct.
do
That's
when we
correct.
do 2-minute, 5-minute length, we'll have fewer acts
Yep.
and fewer beats.
You can
But
also
Here's
delete the
oh,
beats too, if you
yeah,
so
if I
choose
wanted
to
to.
help you.
What
Yeah.
I found interesting here, even in the use that I had, is
hmm
and I tell this to people all the time about working with AI, which
hmm
is, yeah, it might be wrong. It
hmm
might be asking you to do things that quote unquote everybody does,
hmm
which you may find limited use, or
hmm
it may say to you, you haven't really thought about this.
hmm
So, for example, in this first scene, all that happens in the first scene is they're having breakfast in their beautifully AI enabled kitchen, and stuff starts happening, and then their financial agent, because everybody has multiple agents and then an executive agent, their financial agent shows up and is telling them they need to make quick adjustments to their budget, but won't tell them why. Right? And we know what's going to happen. You and I know what's going to happen. He's about to get fired. But it creates all kinds of anxiety. And I had not thought of the financial agent as the antagonist. So I thought, well, that's useful. That's actually
Great,
good for you. I hadn't thought about that. And I hadn't
good.
thought about kind of people having to, on the fly, think about what are they going to do? What's the plan?
Yeah.
hmm
Um,
And being in a writer's room, having been in several
right.
amazing ones, like Cheers or Late Night, would you liken these sort of ideas you may
Yes.
not have thought of to
Somebody
working
would have
with a
said,
writer's room?
somebody would have said, um, uh, actually the person I learned the most about writing from was Norman Lear. I worked with him for a couple of years, and he would constantly go, "What do they want? What do they want? What do they want?" Right? So I need to establish who they are just through their dialogue very quickly, right? Particularly if it's a webisode, right? It's like you've got a minute to make a joke and establish
Yeah.
some characters. And then what's stopping them? So what they want is to continue with their nicely optimized life.
hmm
And then suddenly somebody comes in and throws and puts a stick into the spokes of their life and said, "Oh, by the way, this is stopping right now."
hmm
And so that was, whether they have a glitch in their glasses, or in
hmm
the case of Tim, he's ordered the coolest sneakers to arrive, and the
hmm
box opens up and it's empty because the financial agent canceled the order,
Wow.
Yeah,
right?
and that's one of
And
the main questions we wanted to ask you about was structure. And so, on if you're doing this in ChatGPT, it's hard, it forgets things. But like if you go back to your character page, I think the reason it got the beats right is because if you scroll down, you see like the backstory around the
yep,
want. So you're saying, what do they need? What do they need? So you can, have that here for each character. And then
yep,
obviously, the lie is that thing overcoming and it's from their
yeah,
past. We call it the ghost. And so, yeah, I think by having this stuff getting passed with every API call,
You've always got
that's why,
Norman Lear right there.
yeah,
yeah. You've
exactly.
always got that, so, and the other thing that he would constantly say, by the way, which isn't, is what is the audience seeing? He
hmm
basically described, say, a 30-minute sitcom episode. He goes,
hmm
it's a chain. And the audience comes in and the characters come in and
hmm
they know something from the first line. So you have to know what the audience knows and what the characters know. Then you need to understand uh, where do you want them to go at the end of the scene, but also at the end of the story. And what do they need to know to get from A to B, and then from B to C? It's a chain, it's a link. And how you fill the middle is what a writer does, right? So which actually that's a great segue into looking at the script. So I was
Perfect.
so pleasantly surprised by the
I'm
script.
so glad to hear it. That's
Um,
fantastic.
it
Thank
is
you.
not right. It's not
Hmm.
perfect, but I
Yeah.
could absolutely see me printing this out and I write I'm really old school. I like a pen on a piece of paper. It's just the way my brain was programmed.
Yeah.
And I would just start going like, okay, I really like the idea. I had originally in the back of my head
Yeah.
had Tim go to get the shoes later or whatever. I'm like, oh no, no, this is great. Great. He comes in looking for his shoes. By the way,
Hmm.
there's another thing about Tim. He's a very um, nervous 13-year-old boy. He
Hmm.
tends to stop before he walks into any room and consult his agent about what's going on in the room. His agent
Just
is like the advance man in Veep.
yeah.
I forget.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to watch this show.
Um, yeah, God from your lips. But I would fix that here, right? And then he'd open the thing. Stan
Hmm.
would go, check your order. Because obviously Stan believes the system's okay. Like you made the
Hmm.
mistake, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
going through this, the financial agent comes in. Good morning, Penn. And smiles all around, which is, I did. I wanted him to be like the Gary Cole character in Office Space. Hey,
Mm,
hey, listen, Penn, it's
yeah.
all good.
I need you
This
to.
is going great.
EPS
You
reports.
you can't afford anything anymore.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep, and the whole system is called even keel. It's like
Yeah,
the
and it got the
NASCAR.
trademark
It's
corrected.
a
It looks like
trademark. I
that's
learned
good.
how
Yeah.
opt two is the keyboard combination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
And of
anyway,
course,
so
if you,
all
I wanted to mention, like it, because you do like to print it out. See that button in the top right? It looks like a document with an arrow.
uh-huh.
Just click that,
Yeah,
and then download scripts. So you can do like a PDF or a text
exactly.
file or go to
Exactly.
Final Draft. Yeah.
Yep. So then I'm just going through this. I'm going like, okay, well, it's getting there, but yeah, it got it. And by the way, I know that this scene or this episode needs to be about 5 pages, right? So also it's telling me, can I get this quicker, right? Because it's a little over a page. It's almost 2 pages, right? Then it takes us through all of this stuff. It picked up. Oh, by the way, I should show you. I should do this, and just for the audience to understand this. Each one, I'd come to generate scene, and I would literally copy the description that I had in my episode description, what I had outlined for the scene, and I'd
Uh,
hit generate
if you
scene.
actually click that little button there that says include beat,
Right.
and then instead of having to copy paste, they're all right there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we already have. So I already have this in the script already,
Okay.
but
And
so
just so you don't make a
and this
mistake,
is
maybe cancel this and go to a new line instead of we'll have it
right,
looks
right,
like
right.
that
You're
was
absolutely right.
dialogue.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And that happened to me once. I kept trying to generate a scene.
yeah.
Oh, no, this should be dialogue. That's
Yeah.
dialogue. There we
So
go.
click that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
generate scene, you can paste in
generate
anything you
scene. So
want. You can click
so
a beat.
hold on 2 seconds here. I don't have oh, unfortunately I don't have my notes. But
What are you
essentially I
trying
was
to look
able
at?
You
to
can just hit generate and it will do its best.
oh, let's see. Okay. Um
And you mentioned earlier there was a scene where you were like, "Oh, I need to trim this a bit." That's the exit. You could go to that scene, click rewrite scene, and say, "Make this 2 seconds shorter," and it will do it for
that's
you.
interesting. So that's all great, actually.
Mhm.
So which brings up okay, wait. Let's oh wait a minute. This is generating the next scene.
Yeah,
So
give it
this
a
is so this
second.
to me so we can come back and talk about this later, but I've talked with people at the copyright office about what's copyrightable. And you guys probably know about this. I'm doing this for the loyal viewers at home. Uh, oh, wait, let's do this first. Okay, so now,
And be sure to either accept or revert the changes.
well, I want to read it first.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, great. So now this is great. The next scene is Tim going to school. School's called Learn Space. Um, and by the way, what the way it works is you're cycled in. You learn enough to be put into a job, and then you're replaced by AI, and you're upskilled into a new job. And kids get their first graduation into the working world is around 6 years old because their tiny little hands are so useful.
Screwing all those phone parts
Exactly
together.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So anyway, so Ollie is Tim's best friend, and she's always kind of trying to figure out some kind of scheme to get out of things. Um, I just let's just say this is what the next scene needed to be, and I would just go in and start playing with it. So I would hit
Yeah, you
accept.
can exactly.
Yeah.
And then in the
And then
top
if I go
left, you
back
can
up
see there's
here, what's interesting here
redo.
where I didn't, rewrite scene. Okay, so I would
Yes.
say this
Make this shorter.
has to be, whoops, I don't want to do it to caps because the poor
The
software.
poor AI will think you're yelling at it.
This has to be 1 page maximum. On the whole, though, I mean, this is going back. So this represents my intention, right? I wrote a lot of stuff already and I fed it in, and I have no doubt that what I have in front of me reflects what I'm trying to do, right? And so I think what people misunderstand about software like Saga is that, oh, AI, and AI would write it for you. You could just keep clicking through and clicking through. And that, as we said before, is a party trick, right? But I think what's interesting about this, okay, wait a minute, here we go. Shoes show up, it's empty. Why is it empty? I like the box is optimized. That's not a bad uh, line for Stan.
It looks to be
And
just over a page. So it
yeah,
looks like
down.
it wasn't perfect, but you could accept and trim it down. But
Yep.
yeah, sometimes if you say, make this shorter, that's more effective. So it's getting there. And of course, in the top right, we have the AI chat. I don't know if you've ever tried that, but you can say, just click generate script coverage button there.
Ouch.
And
Ouch.
so it can do pitch. You can do pitch material for your pitch deck. It can give you a script coverage report, and yeah, I mean those you pay a lot of money for that on the blacklist or professionals in LA, and this is basically free and unlimited, and you can chat with it. You can say, "Is my first scene too long?" or whatever you want.
Right. I guess it just takes a minute or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did want to. Do you think structure is something that AI is most useful to help with? That's the question we wanted to come back to. Is like structure, the planning, the research phase, making sure that every character's arc and storyline comes to conclusion. Is that what AI is more helpful for than? A lot of people say the dialogue's a little flat.
Oh, here we are.
Maybe.
Polished writing. Thank you.
Beautiful.
A cleaner balance between scene setup and pacing would be better. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Heavy-handed. Yeah, you're right about that.
And that's the thing. Some people say the new ChatGPT got too, kind of sucks up to you a bit. Oh, everything you do is perfect. But Andrew has received many script coverage reports, so he's prompt engineered this to be, honest, but what people need to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you like it.
Yeah. My first reaction is, wait a minute, I let you generate all these scenes. How dare you?
Yeah. Well, AI can be used adversarially.
Before we get too far,
like
though, I want to go back to. I want to go to this part.
Okay.
and I'm going to try and. So here they are. This
Mm-hmm.
is not who I really imagined. This guy is,
Mm.
by the way.
Oh, he's got his
Um,
little work belt on.
he's got his tool belt on. So okay, fine. Um, this wall here behind them. I don't know if you can you see all this? Is this
Yeah.
clear
Yeah.
enough?
Yeah.
This wall here is close to what I imagine the entire kitchen would look like, and
Mm-hmm.
that there wouldn't be any of this stuff, right? You
Mm-hmm.
you might have a sink,
Mm-hmm.
but you wouldn't need it because literally the wall opens up and it gives you
Mm-hmm.
breakfast,
Got
Mm-hmm.
it.
right? And there's a
Star Trek
machine
style.
inside and all
Yeah.
of that.
The
Um,
good news is we're releasing in our version 4. You're going to be able to either generate or upload reference images for
right.
characters, set locations, and props and costumes. So hopefully that
Yeah.
will get
And I
better
would have
in the future.
uploaded I would have uploaded the kitchen in Alien.
Ah,
Yeah.
Right? That's what it looks like. But and so you see this for a sec. I'm going to show you. And I asked it to play the scene. So in this particular scene, I'm going to set up the clip like we're on a talk show.
Yeah.
In this particular scene, this guy, Tim, is supposed to get the empty box of shoes. This
Mm-hmm.
is Becca. This is Stan. I don't know who. Oh, this might be the financial advisor,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anyway, so here we come in here. I'm going to bring this all the way back. Here we go.
Morning. Did my new shoes get here yet? What the hell?
So
Looks right into the camera like a pro.
Did my new shoes...
yeah. Here's what. So I had this discussion with somebody the other day about whether or not writers like to see their work visualized, and
Mm-hmm.
I do, and it's
Yeah.
only because this is such a long, lonely road
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
that it's just fun to play around and go, okay, I got an idea who Stan is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got an idea who Tim is. Oh, in this particular case, the financial advisor looks too lifelike. I really need to make sure that it's pixelated in some kind of weird hologram, bad hologram way, because I like whatever. All that stuff feeds into what I'm thinking about as I move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all
yeah.
of these things are incredibly useful. The biggest note I have, and it might be my own bias, but the
Mm-hmm.
biggest note I have about all of it is that again, you have to do the more writing you do at the beginning, the more you understand your writing and understand what the story is that you're telling and have questioned it and know something about story frameworks or the basics of writing,
Mm-hmm.
the better this is.
Yeah. And
And
you miss all that in a chatbot.
I'm not so sure that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I have projects set up in all three of them, and actually four of them, because if you include Notebook. And in particular,
Mm-hmm.
and because I've given each of them three really essential documents. One is this is who I am as a writer. Here's some things I've written. Here's why I write. Here's how I began. Like it's like a complete, like if we had all started working in a writer's room, there would be a day we all went to lunch and we all went, well, I started writing in high school and this is who I am and whatever. The second thing is this is what I'm writing. And it's very intentional. Like I want to write this for this reason. This is who I am. And the third thing is this is how I want you to behave. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So all three of those documents are in all of the different projects to the point where now I have said in my kind of who I am, my biggest problem is I start writing something, I get to a point where I think it's in pretty good shape, I think I know where it's going, and I move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
I get bored with myself quickly, which is, and Claude has lectured me about this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, are you afraid? Like, is this a defensive literally, it's asked me like, is this a defensive mechanism where you're afraid that it won't be like, and I'm like, oh, you're right, Claude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
I mean,
So
it does sound like you have a pretty substantial. I mean, you're not using vanilla ChatGPT. You are creating three
yeah,
sort of ragged prompt documents, setting up Notebook LM.
3 different
You're
Fred
pretty
graders.
advanced users. Most people, I
yeah,
think, wouldn't even know where to start doing that. And when they try to structure,
yeah.
a 10
And
episode, four
right.
season, it's
And
hard to do with a
I
chatbot.
wonder, so I do feel like when I was working with Saga, I do feel a little bit like I wish I wish I had a space to put in more, this is who I am and this
Hmm.
is why I'm doing what I'm doing,
Hmm.
right? A little bit or what I'm
No,
trying to do.
it's a great feature idea, and we've heard things like I just want a separate space where I can just write notes, ask questions, brainstorm,
Yeah,
upload documents. So upload a manuscript I wrote once, and this and that, and yeah, that's a great idea. Like we could build a persona of the author, so it's more in their voice. Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but again, I was happily surprised by the results that I got.
Okay, that's great.
Particularly those script pages, because it is those are, everybody I know. First thing, if there's a writer, a professional writer, and Andrew, you can tell me if you agree. If you're talking to a professional writer and they tell you they're not using AI, they're lying.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. I think
But
so.
the problem is that we're not being open about it and doing things like just what we're doing right now. We're not
Hmm.
going, okay, what are the best practices? What do we need to learn? What's important? And how is this actually going to help us?
Well, one thing too is when you're talking about the video that was generated, uh, going back to when I was first starting to use image generators, it made me think of a script I wrote about my grandparents who met during World War II. And I remember meticulously like looking for photos of the WAF and the NAFI, all these things that I had no idea what it would look like inside this building. I just had my grandmother telling me that she saw my grandfather climb through a window at a dance on air base, and so I'm trying to write this thing
In
I've
or
never
out?
seen. Climb into the window. Yeah, they wouldn't let him in, and so he climbed through the window, busted his ankle, hobbled over, and said, let's dance." And then he asked her to marry him. The same.
That's a meet cute.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, but I didn't know how to write what it would look like. And so I'm looking at all these old photos to get ideas. But now I can type into, image generator like
Yep.
Saga's got and say, I want to look at this thing. And it'll give me a great image that then I can write about. Kind of like
Yeah.
you said so I find it's super helpful for things like that as well. Some of
Yeah,
the things
it's,
you said.
and so I'd love I'd love to have this. So, you know that scene in The Godfather where Michael has dinner with Sollozzo and
Yeah.
Captain McCluskey, and he
Yep.
turns to Captain McCluskey and he goes, "Do you mind? We're going to speak Sicilian now." So, Russell, do you mind? I'm going to talk to Andrew and screenwriter.
Go ahead. I've been dealing with young punks like you for years. I think that
Thank
was
you.
McCluskey's line, right? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Nicely done.
Just
Um,
pat him down before he goes in there.
you
I frisked a
oh,
thousand young punks. That was the line. All right, please go ahead.
okay. So, I think we all agree, like the more work you put into it. And so then the question becomes, I really do think then it is the thing that is going to be the debate for the next few years, which is how, what part of us as a storyteller is valuable in this? What part of AI is valuable? And how much, how much do we need to do as humans to get the best result period. And then how does AI fit into that?
Yeah, well, for me personally, I'm writing a script right now. I'm adapting a novel, and the author asked me because he said he loved the first act so far. How much have you written, and what was the AI? And I started to think about it, and like literally, I would generate a page, refine it, and then generate another page, but I'm also guiding it. And so, you know, there's lots that the AI generated, but then I'm rewriting it and guiding it, and then also had planned everything in advance. So in my brain, I'm thinking, I wrote 90% of this at least,
Yeah.
but really like every word on the page, maybe was actually generated at first 90% by the AI and then edited. So I think you're really it's like an auteur future where like people will write, they'll create their videos, and I think John Gates said it. It's like an IP creator of the future is kind of where we're headed. People will
Yeah.
be writing, they'll be making their own stuff, and AI is just gonna be their own writer's room. Like you'll have a lot
Yeah.
more people doing the whole thing and creating,
Yeah.
their
I
content.
I I go back to, the story of there's stories about um George Lucas when he was pitching Star Wars,
Right.
right? So he had made something called THX 1138. He had
Yeah.
made American Graffiti.
Yeah.
And then he came in, and the little part of the story that people rarely tell, he literally, if the opportunity arose, had in his backpack little army soldiers and little models, and he would take them out and put them out on the table as he was talking to people about the story, which people would get completely freaked out by, right? Alan Ladd of I think it was 20th Century Fox, right? Famously did not get freaked out, and he said, "Oh, my dad was Alan Ladd Sr. You're making a Western. I love this." Um, and we're at a point now where if a writer comes in and has a video
Yeah.
and a lookbook that looks like it was all generated by AI, you get people get freaked out,
Mm.
right? They get worried. They
Same,
get worried
same
that is
difference.
this copyrightable? Can we buy this? Was this plagiarized? Does that voice sound like George Clooney? What's going on? It's hard for them to see. Oh no, wait, you use this to create IP. You use this to create something that's a great story.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because I think James Cameron too, when he was pitching Terminator, I think Lance Hendrickson, who played Bishop in Aliens, I think that's his name, but I'm pretty sure this story is that he came in, he had aluminum foil on his teeth or something, and he was the Terminator in the pitch. So same thing as those little toy soldiers. But yeah, to your point, like, would people have been copying things back, like those toy soldiers? Is that copying because
If
they're showing
George
it?
Lucas would have made this
Mhm.
on a laptop
Right.
Mhm.
and said, "This is what it looks like,"
That's
and
what I
here's
want to
my
do.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a
So,
picture. I mean, a picture tells 1,000 words. If you can walk into a pitch meeting with a two
yeah.
minute video plus your 100-page script, I think people want to see the video first, right?
Well, that's the
You
hard
know,
part, right? And it's funny, even the people that I'm teaching in the writer's studio, a lot of them are not professional writers. They really just want to write something, and what they really want is to have a 3-minute video that they can show their friends,
yeah, yeah,
right? Um, because then it could be like, I know you've all been laughing at me that I had this thing I've been writing, but look at my phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the bell. Fred, thank you so much. This has been a blast. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Um, I write regularly on a Substack that's called AI Writers Studio. You can look up my name, Fred Graver, or the AI Writers Studio, and I teach this course online that is a perfect way to get into the Saga software, but in a deeper way. How's that for a segue?
That's perfect.
It's really the fundamentals of storytelling and AI and the virtual writers room at AIWritersStudio.com.
Great. And we'll put the link in the description as well as a link to Saga and a discount code so people can try it free for 1 month.
Awesome. Fred, is there anything else that you think is substantial to know about AI moving forward as a writer?
I think, and we've hit on this, but nobody knows where this is going to go. But the only way to continue to make a living as a writer or to be a relevant writer is to be using these tools all the time.
Yeah.
Because the future,
The future is
is
yours.
It's yours. Thank you so much, Fred.